Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome back to the Great Movie Rap Podcast. I'm,
Yep.
of course, Gaston, joined by...
Jerryofdom.
He's the blue dabba dee da da. And today we are reviewing the brand new Pixar animation film, Lightyear, which we just saw about 4 hours ago.
Did we? It's been like 7 weeks, Peter.
No, it hasn't.
We
Um,
come from another universe.
so that's what this one's gonna go today, folks. Would you like to start with your pre-viewing thoughts on Lightyear?
I was actually excited about this movie because they talked about how it's the Buzz Lightyear origin story. So I was like, okay, sounds interesting. Let's see how this goes.
Mm.
I didn't really have any expectations or anything because it's a Pixar movie. You'd assume they'd be great.
They do have a standard of excellence.
Yeah.
I was concerned about this one. Like, it seemed interesting, but an odd concept. I was left not sure what this movie was supposed to be for. Like, why does it exist? Is this a story that needs to be told? Is this It just seemed odd to me.
We know it's odd. The sky.
Sure. Our plotline spoilers. The movie that inspired the toy from Toy Story. After a mission gone wrong, Buzz Lightyear attempts to perfect hyperspace travel to get the stranded colonists home. During the attempt, the evil Zurg draws near. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Bow. Bow.
And now let's talk about the characters, starting with, of course, Buzz Lightyear, who is portrayed by Captain America himself, Chris Evans, who is a young test pilot and Space Ranger captain. And Chris Evans does a fine job as Lightyear, embodying the dashing hero type that he's supposed to be. There are even times where I thought he sounded like Tim Allen, especially near the end, but definitely how he voiced the character, like the pacing and how he worded things, was very much Tim Allen's Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
A solid performance. I think he did it justice.
I thoroughly enjoyed Chris Evans as Lightyear. It was an interesting thing because most people are so used to Tim Allen, but I think, having Chris Evans as it was a pretty good choice. I don't think there's any problems with it.
Yeah. It's solid performance, really. And recasting a character like that, there's always a huge risk.
Yeah, because a lot of people weren't happy that it wasn't Tim Allen, but
Especially because it's a voice role and they could have used Tim Allen. And while I think Tim Allen would have been the better choice, there's nothing wrong with Chris Evans' performance here. Solid performance. Yep. Absolutely. So now let's talk about Izzy Hawthorne, who's portrayed by Keke Palmer. Alicia Hawthorne's granddaughter, whom Buzz meets. You want to go first with Izzy?
She was a fine character. She had a character arc in this, right?
Yeah, there was definitely an arc.
And it wasn't half bad, It's still a kid's movie, so it's not anything crazy.
Mm.
But I think, she still had her importance to the movie.
Yeah. Her role in this film was not what I was expecting. I thought she was mildly interesting, but her arc was very predictable. You see exactly where it's going. It was very formulaic. By the books, by the numbers, kids film.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Socks, who's portrayed by Peter Sohn, a Pixar alumni who's been in quite a few films. He's a robotic cat and Buzz's companion. And Socks is so much funnier than the trailers showed. I figured he would end up being mildly irritating after watching the trailers. But he is a perfect comedy relief character, and he is my favorite character in the film. Some of his lines, like every joke that is made by the character lands. And he's very, very funny.
What did he do when he would, think about things and his head would spin around?
Meow, 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 meow,
Yep.
meow, meow, meow. Or beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, depending on what he was doing.
Yeah. Again, my favorite character as well. He was very entertaining, and he did great.
Yeah.
And there was some moments where even he was more down and serious.
Mm-hmm.
And they all worked out pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about Mo Morrison, who's portrayed by Taika Waititi, a fresh and naive recruit in the Colonial Defense Forces. You're up, man.
I Then you had mentioned Taika Waititi was in this. I don't know who the heck he was playing. But he was a fun character.
Yeah.
He likes pens.
He does, yeah. He's once again a memorable and funny character with a great performance. This is just like Free Guy's Taika Waititi's villain. He just feels like he's having a ball the whole time. He came very close to being my favorite. He finished in second place. There was some great scenes with him. I love Taika Waititi. He's great.
Did I hit him? Little left.
Did I hit it? Oh, got it. Oh, I got him. Yes.
Want some snacks?
Yeah, you gotta try those sandwiches.
No.
I'm in. So let's talk about Darby Steele, who's portrayed by Dale Solis, an elderly paroled convict who has been conscripted into the Colonial Defense Forces. There's not much I have to say about her. She was funny. She was pretty funny side character. Solid performance.
But she felt like
She's definitely
there.
a side character.
Yeah. There wasn't too much importance to her.
She has no arc.
No.
She
You
checks
make a
another
bomb with
box.
3 things.
Yeah, she checks another box on the tropes in animated films. The old character who is more useful than they seem.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Then let's talk about Zurg, who I misidentified last week as being played by Josh Brolin. It is a different Jay Brolin. It is his father, James Brolin. So Chris Evans has faced Thanos, and now Thanos is daddy, who's also Jeff Winger's father from Community. It all comes around. The multiverse is big. He is the commander of the invading robotic army. This is you. You get to start.
Oh, he was very intimidating.
Design was great.
And the design was fantastic. His role, you can talk about it.
I was disappointed with Zurg in this film. I was hoping for so much more. He had such a good design. A pretty well-known voice actor, too. But the vocal performance that is there is just not that interesting. The character's not very well written. He's underused. And it's something we'll talk about more when we get to the writing, is the tension never builds properly. And finally, let's talk about Alicia Hawthorne, who's portrayed by Uzo Aduba. Buzz's best friend and commanding officer. And her role was also not what I was expecting it to be. But she has a solid performance and some nice emotional beats with Buzz.
Yep.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's part of this film.
The exact same opinion as you in this one.
Yeah. She's there. Yeah. This might hold the rec for our shortest podcast. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So let's talk about the effects and cinematography. The visuals in this film were spectacular. From the space flight sequences to the planet, which is Takani Prime. And even the characters all look really cool. The special effects for it looks really impressive.
Man, with the way you see it from Toy Story 1 to now, dang. Like, the effects in this and some of the scenes, like, it almost looks like real life. And I wonder, like, did they actually? But it's all computer drawn and everything. To see where it's come from is crazy.
I do have a question, though, like a query to pose. Do you think Lightyear, in universe, was an animated film or a live-action film?
I think it was a live-action.
That's what I'm thinking as well, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just a thought that crossed my mind, because we're watching a movie that exists in the Toy Story universe. So, obviously, Toy Story is an animated universe. But in the context of Toy Story, was Lightyear live-action or animation?
I think it was live-action.
I feel like that's
because if it was animated, they would have changed the style of how things are.
Maybe.
And there's a few scenes in it that, like, they could have gone with the silly, goofy, this is animated, but it felt more like they're using real humans in it.
More grounded.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting thought that crossed my mind. And the cinematography is aided by those effects. There's some pretty impressive shots. Nothing crazy like some of the films we've done, but the ones that stand out to me is when Zurg and Buzz face off in the mine, and then in space. Those were a couple of really cool shots showing the size difference between the
I
characters.
remember there was one scene that I really, really, really liked, but I can't remember it now.
Oh.
So maybe I didn't like it that much.
Maybe not. Anything you want to add about cinematography?
It's great, but it is an animated movie, so it's more on the effects.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we've realized with the animated films. So let's move to the writing and score. And in my opinion, the writing is the biggest flaw in this film. The script is formulaic and predictable, aside from one minor twist, which isn't really a twist because they just tell it to you right away. You see everything coming.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what was good about the script is most of the humor lands really well. And there's one really good emotional beat. The others don't really land, but there's one really good one that got me tearing up.
Yeah, I almost teared up.
But the biggest flaw is the tension never takes hold. And even though a lot of the jokes landed, I don't think I could quote a line from this film. Even though a lot of the humor landed, I don't think I got one.
Yeah. That's, again, you bring up all the valid points for this one. So
I'm a detailed analyst.
they definitely could have maybe made things a little more interesting, but I think they were very much still focused on it being a kids movie. So I think,
But see, Pixar is usually so much smarter than that.
Yeah.
A lot of Pixar's recent efforts haven't been as good. I feel like they're running the risk of losing their reputation.
Yeah.
Like, Luca was a nice film.
I haven't watched it.
I liked it, but it's not as good as what came before.
Yeah.
Turning Red wasn't great in my opinion.
I haven't
A
watched
lot
it
of
either.
people loved it, but I was just kind of like Toy
Never
Story
saw Soul.
4.
Never saw Soul.
No, I haven't seen that one either. But like, Toy Story 4. It's a great film.
It was, but it still felt.
That was a cash grab for sure.
Yeah.
A story didn't need to be told, but unlike this film, it felt like at least it had a good story.
Yeah.
I'd say this one was even more of a cash grab attempt, and it's failing at it. Which means we're probably not going to see anything else Toy Story.
Yeah.
Other than merchandise and the parks, I don't think we're going to see anything
I think
else.
because of how they did Toy Story 3, there's just not.
Toy Story 3 is a better ending, but I'm still a fan of 4. It's not my favorite.
I don't like 4. No, 3, because it just made me so upset as a little kid, so not a big fan. Because when you bawl your eyes out in a movie theater.
I like it when the movie does that to me.
Yeah, but when you're little, you're like, I'm not crying.
I'm not crying, you are.
It's also why I won't watch Big Hero 6 anymore.
It's that joke of Phineas and Ferb where Buford tears up. Buford, are you crying? I'm not crying. And he wipes tear off and puts it in Baljeet's eye. You're crying. The score was nice.
Yeah.
There's some great soaring sounds coming from composer Michael Giacchino of Jurassic World fame.
And also, there was some good, really silent scenes when it needed to be.
The use of score, yeah. But what I like is with a space film, your score needs to have that soaring quality, and this film does. What I honestly think was missing, they should have used Starman like they did in the trailer.
Yeah.
During the hyperspace flight, it would have been perfect. I felt like a soundtrack would have definitely benefited.
Right at the end.
Yeah. So there's nothing spectacular, but it's definitely above average for the scores we reviewed. Because so many of the movies we've done, the scores are just kind of there. This one definitely like has merit.
Yeah.
It's just not Jurassic Park or Dune.
No. Can't get it still.
Dune's a pretty good score. All right. We are not even 15 minutes in as we head to the heavy spoilers.
Wow.
It's a shorter film. Less characters, less to talk about.
I feel like we can get into depth with the plot.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Warning, warning, warning. Heavy spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Warning.
What if we warn them by blasting bass boosted music?
Copyright claim.
That is just us saying warning but remixed.
Warning, 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 warning. Bow.
Because it's a podcast, they'd have no warning.
So let's start with my first complaint with the film. A framing device explains that in 1995, a young Andy Davis, the kid from Toy Story, that Andy.
That's his last name?
Oh yeah, confirmed long ago.
I didn't know that.
Confirmed in 2010 in Toy Story 3. It's on his
License and registration.
well, no, but
He was arrested.
it's on the mailbox.
Oh.
The Davis family.
Well, Peter, I haven't watched that movie in a while because it makes me very upset.
So Andy Davis saw Lightyear, the film that inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy line, and honestly, this is a complaint I have. I feel like by starting with that title card, it undercuts everything that is to come.
Yeah.
Either show it at the end, or confirm it in a press release later. I feel like they shouldn't have opened the movie.
Or they could have been like based on a true story.
Or what actually I would have loved to see is at the end, instead of the post-credit scene we got with laser shield, it should have panned out into the audience and showed Andy with his mom. That's what I would love. Holding Woody. That's what I want to see. That's how they should have. That opening title card, no. I didn't like that.
Well, I didn't particularly care. Because I already knew that it was.
I knew it was too, which is probably another reason why I was kind of like, ugh,
Yeah.
get that out of my face.
Let me know.
So, Buzz Lightyear, a space ranger and Star Command, and his commanding officer and best friend Alicia Hawthorne explore the habitable planet Takani Prime with their new recruit, Feathering Hamston, who is portrayed by another Pixar alumni, Bill Hader. Have you noticed that they haven't used, what's his name?
K2SO voice actor?
John Ratzenberger. He was in every Pixar film.
That is...
He was Mac in Cars. He was the piggy bank in Toy Story.
yeah.
He hasn't been in a Pixar film for a while.
When was the last one?
I don't know. It was before Luca.
Was it 4?
Probably Toy Story 4 as the piggy bank. Ham, that's his name.
Ham.
Like, come on. Alan Tudyk, that's Disney, which Pixar is owned by Disney, but Alan Tudyk hasn't really been in the Pixar films. But he's in every Disney animation since Tangled. Not Tangled. Wreck-It Ralph. The year after. So anyway, that other Pixar alumni is Bill Hader, who played Fear in Inside Out. He cameoed in Finding Dory. He cameoed in Luca. He's in a lot of things for Pixar, and he's back as the rookie. They are forced to retreat to their exploration vessel, the Turnip, after discovering that the planet hosts hostile life forms. This was actually a really well choreographed action scene.
Yeah.
It really established Lightyear and Hawthorne. Bill Hader was hilarious in this scene, as Bill Hader is. With not much to do. Like, you notice he wasn't in our castles, because he's referenced once after this, but he's never seen after this scene. But just special shout out to Bill Hader being Bill Hader in a Pixar film.
So the opening scene and seeing the ship get pulled down, everything, and then
Vines,
like pushing through it was like, whoa, that actually felt tense, you know?
It was the start of the film and a kid's movie. There's no.
What if they just?
Oh, that would have won me over.
No, that could have been kill a rookie. Right?
That would have won me over.
You know what I honestly thought when the door like closed when they got into the turnip? I thought the dude got crushed.
Oh wow.
But then I remembered it's a kid's movie.
That'd be pretty dark, yeah.
Because you never, you've seen that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they take off.
Yes. So they take off, and Buzz, who thinks he can handle it himself and doesn't want the rookie self because he doesn't like rookies.
Or the autopilot.
Or the autopilot because he doesn't like autopilot. Yeah, that's true too. Damages the vessel, and the Turnip crashes and is smashed, forcing the crew to evacuate in order to conduct repairs in order to continue on their journey. But their fuel cell is cracked. Their way to get into hyperspace
is gone.
Do.
Because someone ate it.
No.
Oh, they should have done that.
No.
Lightyear ingested it, and that's why his name's Lightyear.
No. 1 year later, the crew have constructed a nascent colony along with necessary infrastructure to conduct repairs. There's a nice little time lapse showing how they've progressed in that year. Buzz volunteers to test a new hyperspace fuel, a key component of the repairs. He's supposed to go for a 4-minute hyperspace test in order to see if they can get everybody home.
Yep.
He does it, and the fuel cell ruptures, which causes him to have to panic to get through the deceleration ring so he doesn't go shooting past to Connie Prime. And it's actually a very well-executed scene.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I wish there was someone else piloting it, because then the stakes would have felt real, because it's like, they're not going to kill Buzz Lightyear.
I feel like, I still felt like, what if they make him just go somewhere else, and he's stuck on a planet by himself?
That would have been interesting.
Because that wasn't that was a possibility.
Sure. However, after the 4-minute test, when he arrives back into Connie Prime, he finds that 4 years have passed fast.
Yeah.
Due to the effects of time dilation from having traveled at relativistic speeds.
You haven't watched Interstellar.
No.
But this is a big thing in Interstellar.
Well, this is a big thing in quantum physics.
Yeah.
Relativistic speed.
Well, I don't know quantum physics, Peter, because I'm not a genius.
I'm a genius. No, relativistic speed just means that the faster one moves through light speed.
And how gravitational pulls are and everything.
It changes how fast you move through time.
Yep.
That's what makes it relativistic. Relative to Lightyear, more time was passing on to Connie Prime than was passing for him.
Yep.
4 minutes for him, 4 years there. So, Buzz is reunited with Alicia Hawthorne, who's moving on with her life, as Buzz was gone for so long. But he is determined to finish his mission and get the people home.
And this is where we're introduced to
He's introduced to Socks, a robotic feline, who
Meow.
has a great relationship with Buzz. I love it very much.
You need help? No.
And it comes to Buzz, I'm gonna go test the hyperfuel again. When will you be back? About 4 years. He's just like, what do you want me to do in the meantime? Chase your mouse. Do you have anything more challenging? Try to crack the hyperspace fuel problem. So Socks has to work on that while Buzz goes and does repeated test flights, each one lasting only 4.5 minutes for him. But he keeps going and failing until over 62 years have passed. And when he returns, the colony has developed and grown. Alicia raises a son with her wife Kiko, and dies of old age while Buzz is gone. When he returns, this is the emotional beat that really lands. Is the holographic goodbye that she left for Buzz.
It was pretty, like...
It was, well,
like,
we both looked at each other and nodded.
I was like,
That was good. That was a good emotional beat. And that's also where we're introduced to Izzy, the granddaughter, in this message.
So anyways, we go back to Socks.
Well, Commander Burnside, who is now taking over the colony. He's a mega a-hole.
You know what? No, he's more just like... It is what it is. It's been 62 years.
Yeah, I know.
Technically 63.
I guess, yeah, it would be.
So, I mean, you've been there for that long. What are you going to do anymore?
Yeah, true. Most of the people who even know what another home is are dead.
Like, he would have been raised on that planet.
Yeah, true enough.
So, I mean...
You got a point. When you're right, you're right.
That's rare. So anyway, Socks.
So Burnside comes in and tells Buzz that there's going to be no more tests, and Buzz is heartbroken because he failed in his mission to his best friend, who is now past Alicia. As he returns to his quarters, Socks has figured out the correct fuel composition, and theoretically it will allow them to obtain faster than light speeds. Coming to take Socks away is the security team, because Starfleet, not that Star Trek, Star Command is decommissioned officially. So Buzz takes Socks and jumps out a window and climbs down a pipe. And against the orders of the new commanding officer, which is Burnside, Buzz uses the new fuel consumption for a successful hyperspace test, in which he infiltrates the hangar and steals the shuttle, and does exactly as was told, just not in the order they wanted him to do it, and escapes to run the test. And it works.
It works.
He whooshes through hyperspace. Whooshes.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
No, whoosh. We gotta get the V in there.
Whoosh.
But upon landing, he sees, well, as he's approaching, he sees
planet.
the laser shield has become active.
Yeah, and everything looks very
Everything's
desolate.
dead. and he lands far away because he couldn't slow down, and meets Izzy Hawthorne, who is the granddaughter who we met as a little kid. She's not so little anymore, as 22 years have passed. During this time, Takani Prime was invaded by Cyclops robots led by the mysterious Zurg. Yes, Zurg.
Zurg.
Buzz meets up with the few members of the colony's defense forces that he can find. Izzy Hawthorne, the adult granddaughter, Mo Morrison, a fresh and naive recruit, and Darby Steele, an elderly paroled convict. When he finds out that they are in fact rookies with no testing, he almost loses right away to a Cyclops.
Yep.
But this all manages to work itself out with some nice comedic moments in the action.
Yep.
They
beat the robot.
But that robot sticks around for a while.
Yeah.
Chasing them down. So initially, Buzz is very reluctant to work with them because they are untrained. But he begins to warm to them, and they tell him of the plan to attack Zurg's ship and destroy the invading force, because all those Cyclops that are attacking the shield are powered from the ship. It's classic Phantom Menace.
And also, Zurg has taken Buzz Lightyear's ship.
Yes. So they have the
ship.
They have a ship with the defense core which gets blown up by the Cyclops. So then they have to find a new ship. So they head to a mining... No,
they went to the hangar first.
They go to the hangar. And in the hangar, they accidentally awaken a colony. And while Buzz attempts to get them now all donning the Space Ranger suit, tries to get them free, they misinterpret his gestures in the panic after the colony awakens, and board the ship as well. And they manage to escape before being shot down by Cyclops and crashing near the mining colony.
No, it wasn't Cyclops. It was Zurg.
Oh yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Zurg that went pew!
Yeah, Zurg himself.
They did like the Darth Vader sequence where he's like lining up the shot. And then
yeah, that's right. Zurg himself shoots down the ship. They find that the only damage to the ship is the capacitor, right?
It was the... yeah, something.
Fuel capacitor. Electronic capacitor.
Yep, alright.
So they have to go to an abandoned mining facility to retrieve it. And after some hijinks with a trap and whatnot, they do manage to retrieve it and have a snack break.
Yep.
But that's where we learn that Buzz himself was a failure in the
training corps.
in the academy at the start.
Yeah, what a loser.
But Hawthorne saw in him something and trained him into what he became, giving hope to our rejects that are the other defense forces
Yes,
here.
and meanwhile, Taika
Waititi.
I'm gonna call him Takati.
That's rude.
It's fine. I'm sure he'd love it if I told him that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So anyways, his character knocks over Socks, who is charging, and they plug him back in, and Socks plays a video clip telling Buzz about how she believed in him, and how he would be able to fix everything, which then reinstills his hope and allows him to be able to work with the others.
Yep. Upon adding their new capacitor to their ship, they attempt to make a run for it when the Cyclops arrive, and following a tense battle...
No. They were at the mining.
Yeah.
And then Zurg shows up. And chases them. Or chases Buzz.
That's true, yeah.
And it's pretty intimidating.
Yes, Zurg does arrive on the scene. I forgot the order of events. Zurg is huge in this film.
Yeah.
At least 12 feet tall. Which is not the scale that is presented in Toy Story 2, but hey.
It's toy scale, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's cool. He pursues Buzz around the mining facility, and then the rejects help him to knock Zurg down to make their escape, in which they add the capacitor back to their engine. And they take off pursued by the Cyclops, who proceed to put the pressure on as Mo and Darby use any weapon they can find against the Cyclops to delay them. Buzz runs Izzy through, who is afraid of space, by the way. Runs Izzy through what to do, and she gets too anxious and hits the overdrive too soon, which
Yeah.
ejects the fuel cell because it wasn't finished priming. So the ship crashes again.
And the fuel cell is knocked out.
Destroyed.
No.
It was destroyed.
No.
Yeah, Zerg stepped on it.
No.
Yeah.
They bring it onto Zerg's ship.
Oh, you mean the hyperspace fuel
Yeah.
itself? I'm talking about the little cell.
Oh. No, is that the cell, the hyperdrive thing got shot out.
Yeah.
And they couldn't fly.
Right. The Cyclops grabbed the fuel.
Yeah.
And teleported back to Zerg's ship.
Yeah. With Buzz.
Well, Zerg grabbed Buzz.
Yeah.
So Zerg arrives on the scene and nabs Buzz after Buzz was about to throw in the towel. He's brought on board Zerg's big, scary-looking ship.
Yeah. It's pretty cool looking design.
I thought it was a little boring. I
Oh.
would have liked something a little more recognizable. Like, not something that we've seen before, but, like, I can barely remember what it looked like. Like, where did that second prong come from? I don't remember seeing two prongs. Anyway. Where he reveals that Zerg is, in fact, an older Buzz Lightyear from an alternate timeline, in which he escaped from Burnside's forces after the hyperspace test. They tried to arrest him. And then, aided by the effects of time dilation, he traveled to the far future, encountering a technologically advanced but seemingly abandoned vessel, where he assumed Zerg's identity by wearing his signature mecha suit. This is not the real Zerg, is the conclusion we've come to.
Yeah.
It can't be.
No.
And travel to the now present.
Through time travel.
Yes, through that time dilation, to obtain more hyperspace fuel from Buzz in order to travel even further back in time and prevent the exploration vessel from ever landing on Takani Prime in the first place. While this is happening, the rejects decide to use one of the teleport discs that the Cyclops are equipped with to teleport onto Zerg's ship.
Mm-hmm.
They begin setting up their plan, what they gotta do. Izzy is going to get Buzz, and the other two are going to protect the ship at any cost.
Yeah.
Buzz, however, refuses Zerg's deal due to the implications of the possible temporal paradox that would result from such an actions, which would wipe out the current timeline and everyone from it. Which means that every single thing that was sacrificed by every person who lived and died, including his best friend Alicia Hawthorne, wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It would all be erased. Meanwhile, Izzy, Mo, Darby, and Socks are there to assist Buzz, of course. And the big thing is Buzz sets the self-destruct on Zerg's ship, while Zerg fights Buzz on the bridge. Mo and Darby are trying to rig up an explosion that will somehow close the door. They never explained that satisfyingly to me, why that would close the door, but...
No, it's supposed to make the robots explode.
I remember Mo saying, and that will close the door, and she's like, and that will close the door. I don't get that.
Who knows? Maybe used to get him to shut up.
I know the blowing up the robots, but then it was also going to close the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. Izzy, however, finds that Buzz is on the other side of these two prongs that I mentioned earlier, in between an airlock. So, with Socks' encouragement, she faces her fears and does her little space float over. Nearly misses, nearly loses Socks.
Yeah.
But they do get inside. We're using the,
Flamethrower out of Socks.
no, that's a torch.
Yeah, that comes out of him.
Yeah, torch comes out of him to cut a hole, and the stealth technology that they use against the insects manages to shoot Zerg's hand off, the robotic suit that was holding Buzz.
She threw the laser that Buzz Lightyear had on his wrist that had come off. She
He
threw it
shoots
back
the
to
arm.
it. Yeah. I thought, yeah. My bad.
And the countdown resumes. They teleport back to the teleport landing
Yeah.
zone. Like, I get how that works. It's just it's an odd spot to teleport to every time, but they do it.
They're about to plug in the thing.
And Buzz about to plug in the thing when the self-destruct goes off. That I did like. The fact that they didn't get out in the nick of time.
Yeah.
No, it's still a major problem. As everything, the ship, Buzz, the fuel cell, and Cyclonus from the Transformers movie, goes zipping out the airlock. Buzz is desperately trying to grab the fuel cell when Zurg. No, he gets in the ship first.
Yeah, and he
He
starts
puts the fuel
flying
cell
it.
into the ship and starts flying it to catch up with
The people.
the bigger ship, the Armadillo that he calls it,
Mm.
when Zurg arrives. And then you have the iconic lines from Toy Story 2. How did Zurg put it? He got the "for the last time" in there, but I don't remember how he got it
I
worded.
can't remember. But he did the quote.
Yeah, he got the "for the last time" in there, and then as he grabs the fuel cell, Buzz ejects, getting his wings that the toy comes with. "Not today, Zurg," which sounded really like Tim Allen reused instead of Chris Evans, and shoots the fuel cell, exploding Zurg, and sending a big backwards, as he uses his wings and the team working together inside to safely land the Armadillo. So, with the fuel gone, Buzz has given up his dreams of ever completing that mission, and he's going to stay on Takani Prime. Burnside arrests Buzz, but relents, allowing Buzz to provide the Space Rangers Corps due to his heroics in freeing them. Buzz selects Izzy, Mo, Darby, and Sox to form the core of this organization, much to Burnside's surprise. Buzz and his team are then sent off to a new adventure in parts unknown, where the credits will then roll, and, you know, if the movie performed well, we'd probably see a sequel or Disney Plus follow-up, but as of recording, it is not performing well, so this is likely the only time we will see this crew. And then, finally, in the post-credit scene, it is revealed that Zurg is in fact alive. Or at least old Buzz is. We still want to know what real Zurg is here. But
it's his father.
According to Toy Story 2. But he is in fact alive. You have to stay really long to see that post-credit scene. So there's 3 post-credit scenes in this film. The first one is just another joke. What was the second one? I remember 1 and 3. Because there was 3.
Because there was the lasers.
Yeah, laser sheep.
It was the robot.
Right, the robot that we never talked about anyway because it didn't matter.
No.
And then Zurg.
Yeah.
There's our plot sum up. We're tracking for a pretty short one today. What was your favorite scene?
Many scenes with Socks.
My favorite would have to be the final space confrontation where they got the quotes out. That was the moment where I'm like, see, this is what the movie should have been all the way through. My least favorite scene would have to be when they were being chased by the Zurg bots, the Cyclops, and Izzy ejects the fuel cell. It was just unneeded tension that slowed down the climax, because they had to have that moment of in every animated film where the lead characters get into an argument and they are not happy with each other. No. It wasn't needed, and it slowed down the pace of the film. Yep.
And there wasn't any scene that I hated. But I found that whole confrontation at the beginning where they faced the Zurg robot for the first time and all that. It just felt kind of meh. You know? I didn't particularly enjoy that scene. It was funny, but it was like, eh.
Overall rating, you can see mine. Mine is 71%. I still think that this movie didn't prove to me why it needed to exist in the first place.
No.
But for what it was a fairly enjoyable film. No major problems. It's Lightyear.
Yep. 70.
70 even.
Yep.
So next time, what do we have? Well, one that will probably be a fair bit longer.
Oh.
It is Thor: Love and Thunder, the 4th film for
Thor.
any Avenger in the MCU.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, no one else had a 4.
Nope, that's the whole joke. Thor got 4.
I mean, the Avengers technically got 4 movies.
Well, that's not one hero, though.
It's all combined. Which makes the one hero the Avenger. Where they combine into each other and gain the Infinity Gauntlet and snap away all the multiverses.
On that note, I've been Gaston.
I've been Jerryofdom.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you tune in next time, and we will see you in the movies.
I just call myself Jerryofdom.
Bye bye.